thank you, Archbishop, for making time available. I know you're very busy. Every time I meet you, it seems I am thanking you. The first time I thanked you was when you wrote to the High Court in New Zealand to request I have bail conditions to return to South Africa to my family before my trial. The second time I thanked you for writing to the High Court judge for requesting leniency in my sentencing for assisted suicide. And I don't believe any judge in the world would have sent me to jail after receiving a letter from Desmond Tutu. Now I thank you again for embracing the issues of death and dying and encouraging other people to talk about it. It's a very complex issue, morally, religiously, and legally. And I was wondering if you'd be so kind as to share your thought processes to coming to your current viewpoint, please.
Yes, it's a very sensitive subject. I mean, we don't tend to speak about the end of life as easily as we speak about the beginning of life. But I have been distressed by the fact that we have often seen people who were comatose, people who were being kept alive with all kinds of pipes and tubes sticking out of them, and clearly, I mean, one would almost say that they were just physically alive and no longer the persons that we knew, and that a lot of people have been distressed to see their loved ones vegetative, and I was particularly struck by being concerned with Nelson Mandela. I mean, that it did seem as if there were intentions that were merely political to have him around. And it was particularly seeing him on one occasion with 2 or 3 officials of his party, and you could see that he wasn't there at all. I mean, he was present physically. They were laughing and, you know, trying to make out that this was a joyous occasion, but it wasn't. I mean, it was very clear to anyone watching on television that Madiba was not present. He was there physically. And I then thought, I mean, that one has to say something. Yes, it is an important subject, but all of us, I mean, most of us would agree that it would be a wonderful thing to be able to have a good death, you know, where you have greeted your family, you are sure that your affairs have been looked to, and that you should not have your life extended, you know, artificially, especially when it is that you are vegetative, you know. I have myself now instructed my lawyers and everybody to ensure that I don't have any artificial lengthening of my life. I would like to be able to say goodbye to my loved ones standing around me, and I greeting them, and that yes, it is a bit of a shock, I think, to the system, but saying goodbye, and with your family, your children, your grandchildren standing around you, and smiling, and then putting your head on the pillow, and like you're falling asleep, and you fall asleep. I think, that after we've got used to it, people will say, why were we so obdurate for so long? Why did we expose people to so much unnecessary indignity? And I've actually said, I've been thinking about our Lord's dying, that he arranged for his affairs, because he made sure that his mother would be looked after his death, and arranged that, and made sure that everything was all right, and then he handed over his spirit to God and died. Died very, very dignified, rather than when they would have had to break his legs or things of that kind. I hope that I will be able to go in a similar kind of way.
That's a wonderful answer. Most religions would say it's not right to end a life. They would say it's just not right. Even if the person is suffering terribly, would you be prepared to comment on that?
Yes, I am aware of the controversy that we have. At the present time, I think many in our churches would say we should not take a life. But if someone wants to give away their life and say, I have had a good life, I don't want to suffer interminably because they've tried to lengthen my life. When the person says, yes, I want to sleep, why should we deny them?
Thank you, Desmond Tutu. When Desmond Tutu talks, the world listens. But on this occasion, when Desmond Tutu talks, the world is going to talk. And thank you for getting us talking about this very difficult issue.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.